Man, we are in a dark place in the Democratic Party.
Our national nightmare may be over, but unfortunately for the Democrats, theirs is only beginning.
This is a plan without a strategy for success. It was about showing fight to a base that had lost it over the fact that they got their asses kicked by Donald Trump.
This is amazing because not only does it highlight this Democrat civil war that's going on, because their party is now at war with itself, 100%. As a result of this stupidity from Chuck Schumer, that party, the Democrat Party, is in a civil war.
Our nation is standing up for American workers, restoring the pride of making products here at home. That's what we do every day. We're America's beverage companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns, delivering brands that have been enjoyed for generations, creating good-paying jobs, the kind that require only a strong work ethic. Because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Good Thursday! Welcome back to the Ruthless Variety Program. Ladies and gentlemen, your government is open. I am Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook, left to right across your radio dial. As always, it has been a hell of a thing here in Washington, D.C. over the last 42 days, but our long national nightmare is over. But a civil war has erupted, fellas.
Well, yeah, our national nightmare may be over, but unfortunately for the Democrats, theirs is only beginning. You get the sense through all of this that they're still working through the stages of grief.
Yes.
You know, and trying to figure out what went wrong and who is responsible. And we get to enjoy all of that.
We do. What's so amazing about going through something like this is that, well, the Democrats have a position. They articulate it. And right from the very beginning, we covered this last episode. We saw here at the Ruthless Variety Program exactly what was happening. We had guests on to explain exactly what was happening, not only how it was going to work, but how it was going to end, because the whole thing had no strategy whatsoever. But the media has to go through the paces, right? They have to pretend that there is a disagreement and they're actually fighting on principle over something, which is, of course, absolute bullshit. This was about Chuck Schumer's political career from the jump. And then at the end, they're like, well, there's a bipartisan accord. Right. A big deal. They've decided that they are brokering together different pieces to come up with something that both parties can live with. No, they just caved.
Right.
They just fully caved. And what happened through all of this is you get to a point where Democrats they have to just acknowledge the fact that they've caved, and they're not happy about it. The media, they don't have to acknowledge anything, right? They don't have to, they just keep on keeping on. So when you're covering dutifully about the very principled stand that Democrats have taken in shutting down the government, and it turns out everybody becomes aware of the fact that there was no principle in it whatsoever. Well, you can't stop there. You've got to just sort of shift this somehow. So you turn to the New York Times, graphic one. What if Democrats' big shutdown loss turns out to be a win?
Incredible.
Only they could write something
Are
like
you
that.
kidding me?
Yeah, it's
There was
crazy.
something absurdly similar to that on NBC News as well. There was like, Democrats think this is a big win. And it's like, why? The fact that you even put pen to paper on the stenography is hard. I don't know how you can look yourself in the mirror.
What
Yeah.
if the real shutdown win was the friends we made along the way?
It's the climb.
That's a great song, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Well, I like to work Miley in when I can.
Yeah.
You know, but that's okay. So that's this is all a very big win. So okay, Democrats and media says you all agree. Everybody's still united. This was a principled stand. We still win in the long run, despite the fact that everybody with two eyes and ears understands it's a loss. What do you have to say about this? Clip one.
Well, look, what just happened in the Senate chamber was an absolute disgrace. I can't stress it enough. It was very profoundly disturbing to be there in that chamber where Senator McCain famously was able to stop the Republicans from gutting the Affordable Care Act. That's what got me to step up to run for Congress. Like, I literally ran for Congress in 2018 to protect our health care, to protect the Affordable Care Act. And I'm really gutted right now.
There's so much here.
Yeah.
There's so much here in that. So that's Andy Kim,
Yeah.
a new member of the United States Senate.
And what he's describing as a disgrace, once again, is reopening the government with a document that was written by Democrats and signed by Joe Biden on multiple occasions. That's the disgrace.
Yeah.
But I find it hilarious, not just for that, but also he's quickly pivoted into this was about Obamacare, right? Which was the talking point that surfaced at some point along the line. Remember, there were 4 components that Chuck Schumer articulated going into the shutdown that all need to be satisfied in order for them to open up the government, right? It was like reversing Doge cuts. It was reversing Medicaid reforms and BBB. It was the Obamacare component, and then it was restoring funding to PBS.
Right. And NPR. Let's not
And they
forget
quickly
NPR.
found out that the 3 of them they didn't sell.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it had gotten to the point where for this charade, because it was all just a bunch of theater kids having a fake little charade, they were willing to shut down the government to the point that air travel was becoming unsafe.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous it was. And you're 100% right, Holmes. This was 100% because of Schumer's ambitions of trying to save his own job. That's all it is. He tried creating these reasons, and very quickly they fell by the wayside, every single one of them. They reopened the government without any of those fake conditions being satisfied because they saw we are doing all this for nothing.
Right.
There's no gain for any of this. It's pathetic. And this is theater kid syndrome. They're all going up there and they're like, I ran for Senate because I saw John McCain. Like, they're having to come up with these crazy little stories to tell themselves and tell each other when they've accomplished nothing except make life worse for Americans because Chuck Schumer is scared AOC is going to primary him. This is how far they went because Chuck Schumer's fear. And the beauty of it is he did all this shit to try to save his job, and now everyone's blaming him for it. They're like, Schumer must resign. This is Democrats being like, Schumer must resign.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Well, part of what I find so fascinating about the Andy Kim thing is he's been a senator for a cup of coffee, right? He's been there for like 2 minutes. So he might have a little idealism left, right? If you've been there for, a few years, you understand this was cynicism from the jump. This is a plan without a strategy for success. It was about showing fight to a base that had lost it over the fact that they got their asses kicked by Donald Trump, and Donald Trump was running over them on a whole bunch of policy things, and so they needed to do something. Regardless of whether that something would succeed or not, they needed to do something. But for a guy like Andy Kim, he looked sincerely disappointed about the Obamacare thing. And I kind of find it sweet at some level. Because he actually, I think in those eyes, believes it's about that. I think that guy thinks.
He buys Schumer's line.
I think he actually believes that they shut down the government for 42 days over Obamacare subsidies, never mind the fact that they don't expire till the end of the year.
Right.
And it was a different debate whatsoever than a CR that his party wrote the previous year.
Right.
I think he actually thinks that's what this was about. And nobody's tapped him on the shoulder and been like, hey, dude, that's not about this shit at all.
And even if it was, first off, he needs to get his head right because anyone who has to pay for health insurance realizes what a disaster Obamacare has been. The costs keep going up, the care keeps getting worse, and Republicans warned them again and again, hey, guys, what's going to happen is that it's going to become wildly expensive. And now Democrats are like, why is healthcare wildly expensive? Let's pump more money into this system that's just bloated and dying and killing.
So much to this clip.
But that's what I find most hilarious about this is Andy Kim having this mythology about like this is why I ran for Congress was the protection of Obamacare, and at no point has there been any introspection by him or any of these other Democrats that the thing still requires subsidies 15 fucking years later in order to be operative, and maybe that means it's not so great and shouldn't be protected.
I ran to protect the shitty system that I'm now running to try to supplement because it's failed the American people.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's so much there.
Yeah.
And there's like this idealism that is today's Democratic Party that can't unpack one cylinder at a time. Like, they're just like, yes, we hate Donald Trump. Yes, we're going to do this. Yes, we care about Obamacare. Yes, we're ostensibly for healthcare, except for like we created the healthcare system. We decided to sunset the subsidies. We now understand that the subsidies didn't work to try to keep your premiums down, but we want to do it again. Like, all of these things are illogical.
Yep.
If you have breath in your lungs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a somewhat functioning brain, you would come to the conclusion that the system that they created fucking sucks.
Horrible.
It is the absolute worst thing that's ever happened to any sort of entity that controls any aspect of American life. It is horrible. And they are saying, well, thank God we have Obamacare so we can subsidize it. And by the way, what we mean by that is that we take more money out of your pockets, borrow from the Chinese to do it, and then we send it to the insurance companies. You never see a thing.
It's insane.
And then you'll be surprised by the amount that we sent to the insurance companies is the amount that your premiums rise next year.
And it's not just lack of introspection, it's willfully malicious at this point. That they broke the healthcare system in this country. It gets more expensive for everyone. It gets less effective for everyone. And they're like, the problem here is we need to pump more taxpayer money into this failed fire of a healthcare system. It's like this bonfire that they've started, and they're like, no, more taxpayer money on it, more taxpayer money on it. It's unbelievable.
But Smug, it's even dumber than you think. It's even dumber than you think. If you are enrolled in insurance, if you're part of an exchange, or if you get employer-related health insurance coverage, you know open season is already upon us.
Yeah.
The rates that were presented to you over the last 3 weeks are already in your inbox.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
whatever it is that they're doing by this catastrophic, you need the subsidy in order to bring those things down type like argument, it's already done.
You know how I know it's the holiday season, dude? I start getting the emails. Hey, your premiums are going up. It's that time of year. I've gotten that. Y'all get the emails. You've gotten the emails. Guess what? Your premiums are going up. Oh, wife, we got to get all our friends' addresses because it's time to send out Christmas cards. I've gotten the your premiums are going up email.
Here comes
Merry
Santa
Christmas.
Claus. Here comes Santa Claus.
Tis the season. Your premiums are going up. Here's the email.
Catastrophic coverage it is.
That's it.
No, it's unbelievable. So, all right. So this civil war is erupting, right? And I'm not sure that there's anything that better illustrates that than this clip in clip 2.
Caitlin, thank you. And this fight is getting personal for some lawmakers. Speaking with our sister station, WMUR, New Hampshire Senator Jean Shaheen's daughter says she's not pleased with her mother's role in this.
Every family has differences of opinion and views, and here we just have very different views about the best way to approach this.
Stephanie Shaheen is running for New Hampshire's 1st congressional district. She says she's not convinced the House will honor an agreement to vote on health care subsidies.
And I think my mom and Senator Hassan did what they believe was right. I'm doing what I believe is right.
So
Senator Shaheen says she stands by her decision, but added her daughter is very independent and would make an excellent congresswoman.
So this highlights, when I found this clip, I've been telling everyone about this.
Oh my goodness,
This is
dude.
amazing because not only does it highlight this Democrat civil war that's going on, because their party is now at war with itself, 100%. As a result of this stupidity from Chuck Schumer, that party, the Democrat Party, is in a civil war. The beauty of this is not only is this the Dem Civil War, this is beyond cynical. Beyond cynical. That party, that family, they only want power. So they can be in a situation where the senator mom is like, of course I voted to reopen it. We know there's no goddamn reason that we should stay shut down. but my daughter disagrees with me, but she's still principled, and I think you should still elect her.
Right.
Like, what? She's on the opposite side. You people believe in nothing but power.
It's heads I win, tails you lose.
Bingo.
Right? And that's how they operate there.
If nepotism can't bridge a divide, nothing can.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an amazing construct that I think perfectly illustrates where Democrats are. They want the power no matter what. So, like, you can be for me, you can be against me, whatever it takes to win. No problem. But when it's a family, the daughter is like, yeah, my mom made a grave error when she voted to open the government because I steadfastly, as a principled progressive liberal, oppose opening the government. And it's like, man, we are in a dark place in the Democratic Party.
Wild?
When you can criticize, when you are, what would it take, by the way? I mean, like, thank goodness our parents aren't in politics. But, like, say you're in any lot in life, and I mean, there's a reasonable place to land for an individual to be like, yeah, I kind of think our troops should get paid. It's Veterans Day.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of think, like, I don't know, people should get SNAP benefits if they're starving. And the daughter being like, my mom is an idiot.
Dude, can I also say, that's become very central to the Democrat Party, is this level of cynicism and hunger for power. That family means nothing.
There's no loyalty.
That's the whole reason why these people will, like, if you're unfortunate enough to have liberals and Democrats in your family, you've probably experienced how these people are such monsters. They'll even try to make Thanksgiving miserable for you. We'll go into that in our Thanksgiving special.
You got that coming up,
But
folks.
these people, they have zero belief in family. Like, you are a unit of the Democrat Party, comrade, and that's what you believe in.
Yeah.
Even if it means attacking your mother.
Get me on that top of the ticket.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So we got one more clip. 2A, please.
I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there's no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing. And now people's health care costs.
They've been cut off, dude. Get him, EOC.
She is working it.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that she's not going to run against him or not going to run for president or something
She's running
big
something.
to take the
Dude, that
mantle,
was her
100%.
announcement. That right there was her announcement.
Yep.
She's got her issue, her platform to run on in that 5 seconds.
Well, remember that when Bernie Sanders and AOC did that CNN town hall and this discussion came up of like, all right, so what are we really doing here? Do you think you
They got pissed.
going to primary Chuck Schumer? And like she freaks out and it's like she's speaking in tongues and she's like, it's not about that. It's not about that. And then the first opportunity to put the knife in and twist it on Chuck Schumer, she does it.
Yeah.
Because Chuck's line and what a lot of the media are saying is like, look, you neither blessed no cursed this thing. It happened. He didn't force it to happen, but these moderate members of his caucus have decided to reopen the government. She's not letting him walk away from the crime scene without blood on his hands.
Straight up, dude. She's like, he had knowledge, and this was a coordinated event?
Yes.
Bro,
Yeah.
she's cooking.
And
Get him.
who's she saying it to? But longtime Senate reporter Manu Raju at CNN.
Yes.
She knows that guy is...
She picked her target.
Exactly. She knows that guy is better wired in on the Senate than any other reporter who's walking around working for a major media
she found
company.
him.
And she found him.
I know
and she
he's your
said it
friend, but he's
directly to
soft. He
him.
blocked me on Twitter because he can't handle the criticism.
Yeah. Hold him accountable, Smug.
Well, listen, I think before we get to the next segment, I think there's a larger component of this that is just how weak Chuck Schumer actually is. And like, he's lived a pretty charmed life. He had lived underneath Harry Reid where he could make a bunch of political decisions, never really have to take the heat for it. When he became leader, it was primarily in opposition. And then he had a Biden administration where his job was basically usher in $5 trillion of spending, something Democrats do fairly regularly. Like, it's a pretty charmed life. This is the actual first test that this guy's ever had. He had it twice. March, failed, called for his ouster. Had it again in September, failed, called for his ouster. Right? And at some point, people need to understand that party leadership is different than being an elected representative and elected senator. Party leadership, you can't be liked. You know you can't be liked.
I've said it a million times. Your job, if you want to be an actual leader, is you act as a heat shield. You provide cover for your members,
Is that what
and
you
you
said?
earn their trust. That's how you do it. I know this.
Yeah, no, Smug, your experience would tell us that. But what happens when you mortgage the leadership component of a leadership job in pursuit of the good graces of the fringes of your party is that you wind up with neither. And that is what has happened to Chuck Schumer. It is cowardice at its core. Tell that to all of the people who had a tough time flying, getting food, getting paychecks. I mean, good God, there's at this point millions of people out there who rely at some point. He just did this for him. And everybody knows it now.
And everyone knows it. Dude, you're right.
You know?
And every left-wing reporter who's calling his office, the press secretary, is saying, no, you don't understand. Schumer voted against this deal. You have to put that in your story. He voted against it.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because the end of the day, the best you can hope for in that position, there are a couple of things that come through every year that you have to do, and your party's not going to hate it. But you got to keep the lights on, and you got to pass debt ceilings and things like that. You got to do it, and everybody's going to hate it. But you have to lead the way in making it happen. And when you don't, all you've done is communicate to everybody that nobody's following. The best you can do is a begrudging respect for your effectiveness. And once you've lost that, you're done. Chuck Schumer's done, folks. We're coming back. The rest of the media, not as charitable as the New York Times as it comes to all of this. We're going to get to all that and a lot more right after this.
America's demand for energy is rising rapidly, and at a time when American families can least afford an energy shortage. But for decades, critical energy projects have been blocked, limiting our access to reliable, affordable American energy and putting America's energy dominance at risk. The solution is obvious. Overhaul the broken energy permitting process. Make it faster and simpler. Innovation, a strong workforce, abundant oil and gas. We have it all right here in the USA. Let's put America first and political agendas last. We can power our own country, create thousands of good-paying American jobs, and unleash American energy to be bigger and better than ever before. Because when America builds, America wins. Read API's plan to secure America's future at permittingreformnow.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
So it's very normal times in the progressive liberal universe. I'm sure that everybody is taking this quite well. As the New York Times said, it's a big win for all of Democrat. Let's check in on the ladies of the View, shall we? Clip 3.
Even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. He cannot,
the applause.
If he cannot keep his caucus together, if he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced.
I mean, you got to think they taped this in New York, right? Where Schumer is the senator, and it's just instant applause when she says his career's over.
The premise is my favorite part. She was like, Democrats just had a blue wave in New Jersey and in New York City. And I think that tells us what the country wants.
Noted political consultant, Sonny Hostin. She's got her finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. Good strategist.
She's like, New York City spoke loud and clear with the blue wave.
I do find it funny that these so-called network shows, when they have live studio audiences, are all just left-wing for the lunatics. Yeah. Like it's very funny. I mean, you watch Colbert, you watch Kimmel, like the View here. Every time they say something that is genuinely bonkers, steel claps.
Also, Chuck Schumer, your career has become an applause line for people asking you to resign. Think on that, dude. Think on that.
I think the only way it could be improved would be an Act Blue link for AOC on screen whenever they do it.
And remember, you can change that right here. Totally true. Well, so NPR, who had a dog in this fight.
Sure did.
If you remember.
Had a financial interest.
So recall the 4 things included we got to reverse all the cuts to national public broadcast because, of course, very nonpartisan purveyor of news and information the American people have relied on, not partisan at all. Well, they've decided to surface some commentary that we find absolutely hilarious in clip 3A.
Some Democrats are so unhappy with the deal to end the government shutdown, we cannot play all of their words on the radio. Consider Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, talking on Facebook.
We deserve so much more than this.
That bit of language amounts to a campaign slogan because Flanagan is running for U.S. Senate in 2026. So let's listen to a slightly longer clip from her remarks.
It's not okay. So it is time for you to pick your fighter and pick accordingly because we deserve so much more than this.
Flanagan was dismayed that some Senate Democrats broke with the rest of the party and joined Republicans to pass the bill, even after Democrats dominated last week's elections.
Especially when we saw victories up and down the ballot all across the country. People were with us, and then this.
For example, Mikey Sherrill won the New Jersey governor's race in that election. She called the agreement malpractice. Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York was on this program on Monday and said he's voting against the Senate bill when it gets to the House.
Because it's not a deal. It's an unconditional surrender that abandons 24 million Americans who are about to see their premiums more than double.
On a system you created, you dumb fuck. I mean, this is just the most amazing thing. And they're all sort of aspirants.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, I think that's a very important point, dude, especially the first person who's running for Senate in the state of Minnesota. And what do we always say on the show? That the media will only criticize a Democrat when a second Democrat stands to benefit.
Bingo.
And so they are criticizing the Democrat establishment and giving voice to a woman who is running for Senate in front of an audience that is a left-leaning audience in the state of Minnesota who they want to raise her name ID with. So they are putting her on a pedestal at the expense of Washington and hoping that she benefits from a throw-the-bums-out mentality in their party.
Yeah, well, Seth Moulton is another one.
Yeah.
That was in Massachusetts that came up and said, like, Schumer's got to go. He's got to go. So, like, all of these candidates, and not to mention the dude up in Maine that we covered couple weeks ago, Plattner, that guy's like, get him the hell out of here. Of course, he's been taking it to the face from the whole Schumer operation all along.
Yeah, the first quote in the New York Times story about the deal was from Roy Cooper in North Carolina, expressing his displeasure with the deal. And they put him at the top because, of course, he's running for Senate in North Carolina.
But what a hilarious juxtaposition where he lives in a military state, right? A lot of vets in North Carolina. And the place that's the safest for him to land in order to get to where he wants to go is to keep the government shut down.
It's familiar territory for a guy like him because he kept FEMA shut down when everybody from the hurricane was hoping for a little bit of help. He wants to do the same thing to the rest of them.
Amazing left-wing lunacy that's going on in the Democratic Party to the point where you can completely alienate the entire electorate but hold on to this fringe element and think that's the safest place for you to be. Civil war is upon us. All right, Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Kelly.
In Arizona, right? He's like he's a sensible centrist, votes off the left-hand side of the map, but he's like the guy who's just, does a lot of media, gets out there, but he's supposed to be somehow seen as a centrist. Well, he went on MSNBC. Here's what he had to say, clip 4.
You're in the majority, obviously, among Senate Democrats. Chris Murphy called the defection by 8 Democrats a mistake. Bernie Sanders called it a very bad night, and he had some other more colorful things to say, including some disturbing statistics. But I wonder if, as a result, you believe Chuck Schumer's leadership is in jeopardy, and should it be?
Amazing. What a premise.
Well, as I've said, we are dealing with an irrational president.
It's like playing hard pivot.
Right?
It is hard pivot.
So first off, she's like laying out the premise straight up. She's like, okay, so you have to go as far left as possible. Many people are saying Chuck Schumer is absolute garbage, and some Democrats have stabbed everyone in the back. What are your thoughts?
And he goes,
that was amazing. Trump bad.
It's like the third wave of constipation coming out of anesthesia. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's just in pain.
Well, you got to remember that the media has treated this man with kid gloves.
Yeah, all his
entire career because the left-wing media desperately wanted him to be a United States senator from a swing state like Arizona.
Yes.
So they ignored all of his failures. They ignored a lot of the scandals and refused to print them the entire time he was running as a candidate.
Yep.
Now he finally gets to Washington. The energy is no longer with the establishment. It's on the grassroots and the outside. Now he finally has to answer an uncomfortable question for the first time in his political career. And he is wholly unprepared to do so.
Been a senator for like a decade.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Mark Kelly, the Breitling spokesman? Surprised he didn't give that answer in Chinese.
Or the Chinese supplements, dude. But that's the thing. And Duncan's 100% right, dude. He was never asked about any of that.
Ni hao.
None of it.
Xie.
Dude, his ads are just objectively hilarious.
I mean, it's just, but again, this goes to the secondary component of why Chuck Schumer is done. And the secondary component is beyond leadership and getting your party through what is objectively difficult things, it's to provide a heat shield. It really is to provide a heat shield for the rank and file of your party, not to have to expose themselves to hostile electorate, particularly people like Mark Kelly in swing states where they could lose at some point if they were seen as too partisan. But now Schumer, out of just completely abdicating his responsibility to that conference and then selling 8 members who aren't running for re-election down the river, what he's created is a dichotomy between 8 people who in the state of Arizona would be seen as pretty responsible human beings for keeping the government open.
Right.
And the rest of his conference, which now includes Mark Kelly, are people who are aligned with AOC and the radical left.
Yeah.
And Chuck Schumer provided no air cover for any of that.
Right. They're not going to forget that.
If you are not electing a leader of your conference to do that very thing, there's no reason to have leadership in the first place.
What you just said is the reason why he's toast.
Yeah. That's it.
Right.
You made his job harder. That's the first hard question this son of a bitch has ever had.
Right.
And he doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know how to handle it. And it's because of what Chuck Schumer is
So
doing.
Chris Murphy is taking him out to drinks and saying, look, I can raise the same amount of money and I'll never do that to you.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Or, maybe Sheldon Whitehouse is sitting there talking about his leverage. Leverage.
It's a really good impression.
Well, he has got a lateral. It's just as simple as a lateral lisp.
Yeah.
It's like there's an extra. It is like the tongue doing the combination lock.
There's some sort of a collapse on the voice box. If you look at the way he holds his head.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's both a projection and a formulation of words. Neither one of them's working out. And then you got that effete New England thing on top of it. Neither one of them works. Anyway,
I don't care for it.
It leads to our question of the day, which is which side will win the Democratic Civil War?
Good question.
Let me just tell you, I wish to high heaven, and I'm a partisan Republican. I hope we win every time. But I wish to high heaven that some sort of, what was it called? The Bill Clinton thing.
DLC? Yeah.
DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I
Democratic
wish
leadership.
to high heaven that there was an element of like a Carville type, generally reasonable part of the Democratic Party that was like, maybe we shouldn't be Marxists.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that exists anymore.
It seems like a pretty easy thing to say.
Like Carville's like good for a soundbite. And would play him all day because it's funny.
It's funny.
But I think he has a very tenuous grasp on any power in the party that's left.
The DLC ain't walking through that door.
I mean, the only person is probably the delusional Rahm Emanuel, who somehow thinks that the party will turn back to him. And I think he's an incredibly talented political operative, but I don't think the party's there at all.
Yeah, if we had to run against Rahm and Rahm's, not necessarily Rahm himself, but Rahm's formulation of a Democratic Party, it'd be tough stuff.
Because he'd be getting, former quarterbacks like Heath Schuler.
Yeah.
He'd do it to our
Well,
ass.
he did.
He did.
That's what he did.
What he did.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, so that's our question of the day. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Friday program, we read every single one of your answers, and we get back to you the very next episode. In this case, which side will win the Democrat Civil War? When we come back, your comments from last episode when we asked how long will Chuck Schumer last? Seems like those two are coincidental.
Yeah.
And we'll get to them right after this.
Every year, corporate insurers get richer, while Americans pay more and get less. Their greed has broken the system, even shutting down our government to protect their taxpayer-funded profits. And now, their schemes are finally being exposed. Big Insurance and their Democrat allies have rigged health insurance against hardworking families. Government bailouts, record profits, rising premiums. America can't afford to ignore it any longer. Conservatives must do more than hold the line. We must fix it. Paid for by American Resolve Action.
Okay, your comments when you like and subscribe. We read every single one. And this question was, how long will Chuck Schumer last? To do that, we always start with a voice.
First one comes from Lady Saw, who writes, Schumer isn't going anywhere. He's that one-lane old bridge between the sane and loony factions of his party. I don't think there are enough Marxist Moonies in the Senate to oust him.
I like that, Marxist Moonies.
Mm-hmm.
Comment number 2 here from Bill Fairless. Bill writes, sometimes you find a quote that fits the moment. This one fits Schumer's current position. What we have got is a dead carcass swinging in the breeze, but nobody will cut it down to replace him. Paul Keating, former Australian PM.
Dead on.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That is a really good, that's right on the button.
I like it.
No question. All right, Smug, what do we got?
Comment 3 is from Jeremy Kincaid. Jeremy writes, Schumer knows he's done. He's savvy enough to fold to Murphy and let him take the heat. Fortunately for Murphy, it'll be just like Joe Pesci walking in, thinking he was the main man. Dude, wow. That is excellent. I figure somewhere close to the new year, using the holidays for cover. Dude, that is great. Just like Pesci.
Perfect. So AOC's going to tell him to get his shine box.
Yeah.
100%. That's just going to be the way that's going to work for a while.
That's the picture of the Dem Party right there.
I don't know
Jeremy.
if they can actually do that. I don't think you can switch horses midstream.
No, they're not going to.
No.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, Schumer. Schumer. I think he lasts
After
until after the
26.
midterms. Yeah.
You think so?
They do the replacement after
Well,
that.
I think what's happening is that Schumer's going to try to keep a lower profile. Like, he'll band together and be vocal when, like, 100% of libs are on board with something, and he'll, try to get some stuff back. But really, the whole play is to try to stay as non-controversial as you can until 26 and hope you win the midterms. And then the hope is if Democrats were to win, they'd forget about all the transgressions and be like, well, we won, so we might as well not switch horses.
I took you to the promised land.
And so what you got to watch is people like Chris Murphy headed to the different states where they're running Senate races.
There
and is
you
he doing
go.
a fundraiser? Is he appearing?
What's his leadership pack doing?
And who else is doing the same thing? Because he's probably not the only one with his eyes on the prize.
You know the other one to watch?
Brian Schatz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schatz.
Yeah,
That's a young man in a hurry.
I feel like Murphy's got more access to resources out of Connecticut than Schatz in
totally
Hawaii.
agree.
However, Oprah lives in Hawaii, and so does Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the healthcare system, Phil. Anyway, coming up next, a prominent Texas Democrat. This guy's running for Senate. Sort of held himself out as this sort of pious, religious type, but you don't find a lot in the Democratic Party these days. Anyway, the media has stumbled across a few things in his closet, so to speak. We have the details right after this. It's game day. It's Thursday and time for our signature game here, King of the Hill. I think I'm the champion, am I not?
You are the champion, and you have Cheri Jacobus, right?
I do.
And I'm bringing the challenger this week.
Oh, gosh.
Jennifer Brainworms
No.
Rubin. It's going to be
Ooh.
the Clash of the Titans.
It's for the Queen Crown.
Yeah, this is like King Kong against Godzilla.
It is, dude. Judge Ashbrook, and I will be the bailiff.
All right, well, let's go ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. It's time for King of the Hill. In the red corner, fighting formally from the Washington Post, and former champion of the world, Jennifer Brainworms Rubin. And now, in the blue corner, fighting from her own Blue Sky account, and current champion of the world, Cheri the Commie Jacobus.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
There's just a world of content out here. So I'm expecting a very good game. I'm going to start one that frankly blew the top off my head. Exhibit 5, if you don't mind. Dominion Voting Systems is the new Cambridge Analytica.
Amazing.
Dominion is now owned by a MAGA Republican. Dems need to crack tech team together ASAP to find a way to monitor this and get in front of it.
Incredible.
Okay. For those of you who don't follow this like granularly, Dominion was when we were dealing with the Rudy Giuliani's and what was that lady's name?
Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell, who said that Dominion had rigged the 2020 election. They were all indicted. They were all litigated against, and it was ugly, ugly times for people who were doing that. Everybody sort of took as a lesson on that you don't, unless you've got the there on voting machines. Don't start to get into that situation because that's ugly business. Well, Cheri has followed the ownership structure of Dominion. I have not, candidly, so I don't know what the situation she's referring to is. But what she's saying is it's the new Cambridge Analytica. Recall that was what Democrats blamed the loss of Hillary Clinton on in 2016. Of course, was blown out of the water by facts, and knowing that it had nothing to do with the $150,000 worth of Facebook ads in the context of a $2 billion election. But Democrats blamed Cambridge Analytica for the loss and therefore tried to destroy the internet as a result. Demonstrably proven. So this is now the same as that, because you have to look forward to the next election because Dominion is going to actively rig it against Democrats now that it is a MAGA-owned thing. This, my friends, is a masterpiece that I could not conjure up in my head in a million years.
Okay. Smug.
Nope.
Or Duncan.
Oh. I feel like maybe the bailiff should have enforced some sort of timing on that.
Well, I happen to think this court runs a tight court.
Go ahead.
I think they're smart and thoughtful.
Go ahead, Michael.
Listening to War and Peace over there. Okay, well, rigged elections, Dominion voting machines. That feels like a Cheri my Cheri.
On the other side of it.
Yeah, right. That feels like her alley. I think I can raise it one here. Exhibit 14. Jen Rubin writes, "The ballroom is the most visible, easily explained, and visually disgusting evidence of Trump's destruction of our democracy and the public's ownership of our institutions. A ballroom that the White House desperately needs is, quote, the most visible and easily explained and visually disgusting evidence of Trump's destruction of our democracy." I mean, it's a take. I know a lot of people have done a lot of ballroom takes. I don't think there's one that I've seen from a competitor on King of the Hill that rises to the level that Jen Rubin just did.
I mean, and again, I think we've said it before. The funniest part of this is it's the most altruistic thing Trump has ever done because he will never
doesn't get to enjoy
the ballroom.
All he gets is the noise of the construction.
Yeah.
Let me just say that as good as Cheri's first play was, Jen Rubin takes round.
No!
Let's go.
I cannot believe I lost to a ballroom take.
Well, you did. Maybe pick a new take.
Go ahead.
Second round
Go ahead,
challenger.
challenger.
Okay. This is an incredible appeal. Okay, this is Jen Rubin on Blue Sky, exhibit number 8. Psst. And then she tags Pelosi's official government Blue Sky account, which is just funny in and of itself.
That's also funny, yeah.
Yeah. You helped sideline Biden to save the party from a 2024 wipeout. Might you chat with Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin asking for 7 million friends?
Dude, it's an incredible take.
Oh, man.
Please, Nancy, save us.
Take.
I like it for a variety of reasons. Like, number one, Nancy Pelosi just decided she's not running for re-election. Like, she's trying to get the hell out of Dodge and manage her hedge fund portfolio. Like, she gives a shit about any of this. Number two, the idea that she is the single orchestrator of this entire coup against Joe Biden, that somehow Jen Rubin can tweet at her on Blue Sky and get her to do it again, is even funnier.
Dude, this is awesome.
Okay. Champion.
Okay, so this one's going to hit a little close to home. Because we attended this situation, and the depiction that she is retweeting is our very own guest on Funtime Friday last week. But Exhibit 3, please. This is a tweet about the Patriot Awards, which we were happy to attend. And Cheri's comment is, every one of these people are liars, traitors, and sellouts. Every single one. And I've some old. I mean, this is.
I have some old. I
guess.
guess.
But that's I've some old.
Yeah.
I've some old. DMs from some expressing how much they hated Trump until they were ordered to support him or else. Now, one, hilarious, the crossfire that's getting taken here by our friends over at Fox. But secondly, the entire Patriot Awards is honoring veterans.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like
heroes.
Veterans, police, first responders. It was like the highest concentration of like veterans and police officers finally getting recognized. And she's like, every one of them's a traitor.
It had
incredible
literally nothing to do with Trump. They've done it before Trump. They're doing it after Trump. It had nothing to do. It was just simply a Fox gala honoring real American heroes. And she said traitors.
Amazing.
Traitors.
And for that reason, Cheri My Cheri takes round 2.
So it's a round 3.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I think I'm going to lead round 3 with a thing that encapsulates Cheri My Cheri the best. To understand who is Cheri My Cheri, you must understand this next exhibit in Exhibit 7. There it is. It's a glass of wine.
Dude,
and
funny.
more importantly, the timestamp is 1:03 p.m., November 8, 2025.
Amazing.
And what is that view, do you suppose? Is that a train?
It looks like some kind of a lake house, maybe a cottage of some point. Like, I don't. It's hard to tell where it is.
Ifric's 900 years old, bro. He thinks this is the train. Look at him.
It's clearly a body of water. And I gotta say, like, Cheri, I was unfamiliar with your game. Like, I would have expected to be an alleyway full of cats.
Yeah, right?
You know?
That would have been my guess.
But
Good
dropping the full glass of Chardonnay.
Dude, the 1 p.m. is like
at 1 p.m.
She was like watching the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just
good for her, though.
It's good.
Okay.
Good for her.
Jen Rubin.
Well, this next one that I'm going to play, I think, is an instant knockout, and I know that because my opponent here thought the same thing when they mentioned it on Twitter. Exhibit number 13, please. Jen Rubin.
Oh, my
God.
The 8 Neville Chamberlains betrayed the thousands of government workers who have held out, the SNAP beneficiaries who have faced starvation, and the millions of Democrats who supported this fight. And then she links to her crazy Substack article about all of these things, which is incredible. I don't know if I really have to explain this other than the idea that somehow these like SNAP beneficiaries who couldn't feed their families were like willing soldiers in this fight for the Democrats to hold out and shut down the government. But apparently Jen Rubin thinks, though, and I think that's why I'm going to win.
Yeah, the Chardonnay in the window is a very, very good play from Cheri. But again, what Jen Rubin was describing was reopening the government by passing a continuing resolution that was written by Democrats.
Neville Chamberlain.
Neville Chamberlain
Neville
because
Chamberlain.
of that. So
that's I'll concede that was a great play.
That's pretty
for that reason, Jen Rubin
A new
recaptures her
champion.
crown.
I think she's going to be tough to
Dude.
dislodge.
Dude,
She's
it's
running
been
the
a while.
heater. You know
It's
how
been
she
a while.
is. You know how she is around the holidays too. It only amps up.
Loneliness and drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
Oh,
Tough around the holidays.
It is.
But it can
sad.
inspire greatness when you're terrible.
That's exactly right, Smart. That's exactly right.
we count on it.
The emotions run high
'Tis the season to be awful.
when you feel lonely.
Yeah. It's the most treacherous time of the year.
And that's when it gets good. For King of the Hill, the Ruthless Friday program. Anyway, thank you, new champion. One more bit of variety. You know, if you any of the kids that are looking at TikTok over the last few years, it's like, well, China's doing this and China's doing that, and they can build a hospital in 48 hours and do all this stuff. And it's like people are like, oh, look at how great China is or whatever. Well, there is a piece of competing evidence here, crazy footage in clip 7. So that is a bridge, a 2,500-foot bridge.
Oh! Wow.
Oh, Chomadillo.
Doesn't look like an old bridge either.
In fact, it's not.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing's fallen over. You can't even see it anymore with the wreckage and the smoke.
So that's the Hanki Bridge, and it was completed this very year.
Oh, wow.
To create an easier connection between Sichuan and the Tibetan Plateau.
Bro, you get your bridge from Temu, what you think is going to happen?
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's it. It was the Temu.
You know, you're the contractor. You're like, listen, we can build this ourselves, or we can hit up Temu. They'll get it here in about 27 days. It's got to go through like 19 different airports. God knows where it is. It'll arrive someday.
It is interesting, though, that's sort of the conundrum when it comes to China, because there's clearly a lot of areas where they are a legitimate threat, you know, and a competitor to the United States on things like AI and technology and things like that. And then you do see these like weird examples of like the failures of central planning and their whole Maoist ideology, where you see these like ghost cities, literally like skyscraper cities that are completely undeveloped, and they end up just like bombing them all down and destroying them because they can't fill them up.
Right.
And so like you see this just strange dichotomy between China's strengths and its weaknesses.
It's true. And it's, you know, look, it's tough making a bridge out of chopsticks. It's difficult. That's the failures, apparently. Anyway, that didn't work out for them. We wish all of them the very best, but just wanted to provide a little
I don't
context.
wish them the best. That's what you get. You have a horrible, corrupt government that's evil. This is what you get.
But they make a succulent meal.
A succulent Chinese meal?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they sure do that. Anyway, remember our question of the day. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program, we ask you a question and we ask for your response. When you do, we read every single one of them. We compile them and get back to the very next episode. Our question this very day, which we'll get back to on Fun Time Friday tomorrow, is which side will win the Democratic Civil War? Like and subscribe. Check out a little merch while you're there. Enjoy it. Thanks for joining us. And with that, fellas, I think we did it.
I think so. Absolute banger of an episode. Gentlemen, remember, just like Holmes said, go to the YouTube, hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Friday. Stay ruthless.